Yo, some of you guys might remember the story, some of you might not, but a while ago we were tracking one of the January 6th rioters and neo-Nazi, Robert Rundo, okay, who specifically fled to Eastern Europe after January 6th at the riot at the Capitol to then sell Nazi memorabilia in countries like Romania to his gang of Telegram Nazi thugs, and also escape the American police to stop himself from going to federal jail for obviously the crimes that he committed, okay? We were looking at Bellingcat articles about how they tracked him through multiple states in Eastern Europe and even tried to find him multiple times to ask him about why he's now trying to sell Nazi sports gear and why he's fleeing America and fleeing even the Eastern European authorities because they have an obligation to extradite him if they ever were able to catch him. And there was a big like back and forth cat and mouse fight going on. Bellingcat would alert the authorities. Rundo would scurry into like a little hole somewhere, pop up across the border, another Eastern European country, trying to shill his Nazi memorabilia on Telegram. Until about a year ago, he was nabbed up, caught. They finally got him like the rat he is. And then he was extradited to America. Now, a lot of you all were wondering if there was going to be an update to that story, and the answer is yes, and the date is today, because I would like to tell you a little bit about what happened after he was caught and then extradited to America, because things still aren't going very well for him. He was arrested, he was put into federal custody, but he was actually then released after he posted bail. But it seems like his release didn't last too long, because just recently he was put back under federal custody. He was then put back under federal custody after he even was able to get some of his charges dismissed. I want to take a look at what was going on here, because this guy really can't keep himself out of jail. The white nationalist brawler Robert Rundo is back in federal custody after a new warrant for his arrest was secured on Thursday. He surrendered in Southern California, approximately 50 miles north of San Diego, according to new court documents. Rundo is expected to be brought to the Metropolitan Detention Center in Los Angeles today. Rundo's recapture is the latest twist in a long-running saga that stretches from Orange County to Eastern Europe and back. The federal government scrambled to put Rundo back behind bars yesterday following a surprising decision by a district judge in California Wednesday to dismiss riot charges against Rundo, citing selective persecution. Rundo was accused of conspiracy to violate the Anti-Riot Act for planning to participate in violence at a series of political rallies across California in 2017, when he was the leader of the far-right club known as the Rise Above Movement, or RAM. A federal indictment describes how Rundo and his crew decked themselves out as combatants with goggles, mouth guards, athletic tape around their wrists, and black face masks with white skeleton designs. On Wednesday, federal judge Cormac Carney, he sounds like a corrupt judge. Cormac Carney? He's like an antagonist in like a 1940s animated short. What's going on? Dismissed the charges against Rundo and a co-defendant. While defendants openly promoted ideas court finds reprehensible and likely committed violence in which they deserve to be prosecuted, Carney wrote, this case is about something more important. The judge ruled that the government had engaged in unconstitutional selective prosecution by singling out RAM members while not similarly bringing charges against members of Antifa and related far-left groups. He committed crimes. He is a violent criminal, but you didn't arrest Antifa? So we're going to let him go. I'm actually flabbergasted with this. I'm going to tell you this right now. This is the type of ruling that should get a judge kicked off of the bench. He's just like, I don't remember a single Antifa coming into my court, so why don't we just let the Nazis go? Nazis should be able to do whatever they want as long as you don't arrest Antifa. How about, like, what if like a member of Antifa, how do you know that they didn't prosecute any members of Antifa in California? How many violent Antifa incidents have there even been in California? Does he even know? This is actually one of the first times I've ever seen a 4chan judge. This is one of the first times I've ever seen like a blue check reply guy judge in my entire life. I've never seen a judge use whataboutism on the bench like a massive own. Yo, maybe he's a Nazi too. It's very possible.
This meme is very real.
Who he said engaged in even worse conduct than the Nazis. From the bench, Carney ordered Rundo's release, reportedly remarking, "I don't think it's right that Mr. Rundo spends another minute in custody." The government disagreed and sought to stay Rundo's release while it appealed Carney's ruling. The motion was granted earlier Thursday by the Ninth Circuit Court, but it was too late. Rundo had already hit the streets. Bro, these judges are actually putting Nazi thugs back on the street. Mind you, back in 2020, when BLM rioters were pouring red paint on the steps of police departments, those people were getting hit with felonies, and some of those people didn't leave jail for a really long time. And this actual genuine violent Nazi was released because they didn't they didn't El Salvador like search everybody's homes to see if they liked any pro Antifa tweets on like Reddit or something or like the Bird app. Like what's happening? You're right. This is a circus. This is like him and the whole squad. How do you think they pull up to court in one of those tiny clown cars and like 14 people hop out? They hop out on like mini unicycles with red noses and they're like juggling bowling pins, and that's how he makes his way into court. There is no way. There is no possible way you're going to make me believe that this guy deserves to be a judge. This isn't even possible. You all didn't even know about the nuh-uh statute in American civil and criminal law. Prosecutors hate this one simple technique. Nuh-uh. Well, actually, do all judges have infinite tenure? No, a lot of like judges are actually voted in on the municipal level. Like you'll see in your upcoming elections, there's probably a judge on your ballot. The government wrote that it considers Rundo an extremely serious flight risk. And yeah, he's probably going to go back to Eastern Europe, man. You got to stop him. And believe he already traveled to near the United States-Mexico border. He's going to, oh my gosh, he's going to hop the border, but the opposite direction. A magistrate judge issued an emergency warrant Thursday. According to court filings by Rundo's counsel, Rundo agreed to self-surrender and was later arrested without incident well north of Mexico. Wait, what do you mean by well north of Mexico? How north of Mexico? The government and Rundo's attorneys are now sparring in court filings about whether Rundo will get a new bail hearing after his rearrest. The multiple-year federal prosecution of Rundo has taken many twists. Judge Carney had previously dismissed the charges against the Ram leader in 2019. You gotta get away, bro. You gotta get away from this judge. You need to get away from this judge, dude. There's no other way about it. He's actually insane. He's actually crazy. He's lost his fucking mind. You have to find a new judge. It's not possible to be able to continue with this guy. He'd previously dismissed charges against him in 2019 by ruling that the Anti-Riot Act was unconstitutional. In 2021, the appeals court overruled Carney's decision, but by that time, Rundo was already living in Eastern Europe, where he had been a leader in creating an international network of violent white nationalist groups known as active clubs. Last year, Rundo was arrested in Romania and extradited to California in August. Judge Carney again upended the case against the white nationalist leader in his Wednesday ruling. This guy must be buying from this guy's Telegram. Like, there's no possible way, right? There's no other way besides this guy actually just being a Nazi himself.
This meme is very real.
You have to see what type of, like, who this judge follows. There's something wrong here. Check his tax folder. Yeah, does he have like gang tattoos or something? There has to be something going on. Judge Carney again upended the case against the white nationalist leader in his Wednesday ruling, which immediately sparked criticism in legal circles. Carney wrote in his 35-page opinion that prosecuting only members of the far right and ignoring members of the far left leads to leads to a troubling conclusion that the government believes it's permissible to physically assault and ignore Trump supporters and silence speech. Where did Donald Trump come into any of this, man? What? I mean, at least he's admitting that neo-Nazis are Trump supporters. There has to be a way to like recall this guy. There's no other way. He's out of his damn mind. Immediate termination. If you were this bad at your job at anything else, you would have been fired, honestly, at like years ago. Bring back tar and feathering. There's only one way. What got me is the sparring language. Like, can you imagine them pulling out boxing gloves and pulling up their sleeves and walking all hunched over like, oh boy, oh boy, why I oughta, yeah, like them in their like boxing gear, ready to give some like poor liberal woman on the street the old 1-2. Like these, like a gang of guys walking down the street asking women if they've dated a black guy before. Very normal, very, very normal people here, I guess. It's like the gangster cats from Tom and Jerry. Yeah, the street cats. Oh, they're hard. They're hard. That dude Sanchez, who was at CPAC, was a part of RAM. Dude, a lot of these guys are just Nazis, man. I'm telling you that right now. It's real scary stuff. They love their Nazis. They actually adore them. Come here. Come here. Oh. Hi. Oh, sorry. I didn't see you there. If you're enjoying the content, hit the subscribe button. If you don't, it'll make Boo very sad. I know a bunch of you who are watching are not subscribed. Join the frenzy. You won't regret it. Thank you, Boo.